You've done everything right. You went to the pet store, picked out the cutest hamster, bought the cage they recommended, added a wheel, a water bottle, some bedding, and you're good to go. Your hamster should be happy, right? But if you're watching this, you've probably noticed something's off. Your hamster is climbing the bars like it's trying to escape a prison. It's biting the metal until you can hear it across the room. Or maybe it's just sitting there, doing nothing, looking miserable. Here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Your hamster probably hates its cage, and it's not your fault. It's the pet industry's fault. Let's start with the most common mistake, the one that almost every first-time hamster owner makes. The cage is way too small. Go to any pet store, and you'll see rows of colorful plastic cages marketed specifically for hamsters. They have tubes, levels, and they look amazing. They're also way too small. Most of these cages are marketed as suitable for hamsters, but they barely meet the minimum requirements, and in many cases, they don't even do that. In the United States, there are no federal regulations for hamster cage sizes. None. Pet stores can sell you a cage the size of a shoebox and call it a hamster home. In the wild, hamsters travel miles every single night searching for food. Syrian hamsters, the most common pet hamster, can cover up to 5 miles in a single night. Even dwarf hamsters, which are smaller, are incredibly active. These are not animals that sit still. They are built to roam, to burrow, to explore. And we put them in a plastic box that's 2 feet long. The minimum recommended cage size for a Syrian hamster is 450 square inches of continuous floor space. That's about 30 inches by 15 inches. But even that is considered a bare minimum by most hamster welfare organizations. In Germany, the legal minimum is 775 square inches. In Switzerland, it's even larger. So why are we in the United States still selling cages that are half that size? Because it's cheaper to manufacture and easier to sell. Now let's talk about what happens when a hamster is stuck in a cage that's too small. Bar chewing is one of the most common signs. Your hamster grabs the bars with its little paws and just gnaws away over and over sometimes for hours. It's not sharpening its teeth. It's not playing. It's stressed. It's frustrated. It's trying to escape. This behavior can lead to broken teeth, injuries to the mouth, and serious stress-related health problems. And it's not just bar chewing. You might also see repetitive behaviors like backflipping off the walls, running in circles, or obsessively grooming. These are stereotypic behaviors, the animal equivalent of pacing back and forth in a cell. They're signs of severe psychological distress. But let's say you've got a bigger cage. That's great, but size isn't everything. The next problem is enrichment, or the complete lack of it. A hamster cage isn't just about space, it's about what you do with that space. In the wild, hamsters dig extensive burrow systems. We're talking tunnels that go several feet underground, with multiple chambers for sleeping, storing food, and even toileting. Burrowing is a natural, instinctive behavior. It makes hamsters feel safe. Without the ability to burrow, hamsters experience chronic stress. So how much bedding do you need? At least 6 inches, and ideally closer to 10 or 12 inches in at least one section of the cage. This gives your hamster the ability to create tunnels that won't collapse. Most people put in maybe 2 inches of bedding, just enough to cover the floor. That's not burrowing. That's barely scratching the surface. And then there's the wheel. Oh, the wheel. If you have a hamster, you need a wheel. It's non-negotiable. But not just any wheel. If the wheel is too small, it forces your hamster to run with an arched back, which can cause spinal injuries and long-term pain. For a Syrian hamster, the wheel needs to be at least 8 inches in diameter, but 10 to 12 inches is better. For dwarf hamsters, at least 6.5 inches, but bigger is always better. And please, for the love of all that is good, get a solid surface wheel, not one with rungs or mesh. Those can cause a condition called bumblefoot, where your hamster's feet get sore, swollen, and infected. It's painful, it's preventable, and it's entirely the result of bad wheel design. Let's move on to another massive issue. Those colorful plastic cages with all the tubes. They look fun, They look stimulating, and hamsters do love tubes, that's true. But here's the problem. Most of those tube systems are designed for mice, not hamsters. Syrian hamsters are chunky. They get stuck. I'm not exaggerating. There are countless stories of hamsters getting stuck in tubes, panicking, and either injuring themselves trying to get free or, in the worst cases, dying from stress or positional asphyxiation. Even if your hamster doesn't get stuck, those tubes are often poorly ventilated. Ammonia from urine builds up, and your hamster is breathing it in. That leads to respiratory infections, which are one of the leading causes of death in pet hamsters. And cleaning those tube cages? It's a nightmare. You have to disassemble the whole thing, scrub every piece, and then put it back together. Most people don't do it often enough, and the hamster suffers. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention: cage mates. If you have two hamsters in one cage and they're not dwarf hamsters from the same litter, you're playing with fire. Syrian hamsters are solitary animals. In the wild, they are territorial and aggressive toward other hamsters. They will fight, and those fights can be fatal. Even dwarf hamsters, which can sometimes live together, are not guaranteed to get along. They can seem fine for months, and then one day, something snaps. One hamster attacks the other. It's brutal, it's bloody, and it happens more often than people think. The pet store might have told you hamsters are social and need a friend. That's a lie. They're selling you two hamsters instead of one. Hamsters do not get lonely. They do not need a friend. In fact, forcing them to live together is cruel. Here's another thing that's going to upset some people. Those cute little hamster balls, the ones where you put your hamster inside and let it roll around the house, those are bad. They're stressful, they're disorienting, and they're dangerous. Your hamster can't see well to begin with. Inside a ball, it's even worse. It's rolling around, bumping into walls, furniture, and stairs, with no control and no way to stop. It can't eat, drink, or rest. It's not exercise, it's panic. And if the ball cracks or breaks, your hamster can escape into your house, where it can get lost, injured, or killed by other pets. There are much better ways to give your hamster exercise outside the cage. Use a playpen. Let your hamster explore a safe, enclosed area where it can move freely, investigate, and actually enjoy itself. Let's talk about food for a second. You'd think this would be simple, but it's not. Most hamster food sold in pet stores is garbage. It's full of sugary treats, colorful bits that look appealing to humans but have no nutritional value, and not enough protein. A good hamster diet should be based on a quality pellet or seed mix that's high in protein and low in sugar. You should also be supplementing with fresh vegetables a few times a week and the occasional bit of protein like mealworms or boiled egg. But a lot of people just fill the bowl with whatever mix the store sold them and call it a day. And then they wonder why their hamster is lethargic, overweight, or sick. Water is another overlooked issue. If you're using a water bottle, check it every single day. Bottles can get clogged, the ball bearing can get stuck, and your hamster can become dehydrated without you realizing it. Some hamsters also prefer water bowls, which are more natural for them to drink from. If you use a bowl, make sure it's shallow and heavy enough that it won't tip over. Dehydration in hamsters is serious and can happen fast. Most people forget how important noise and location are. If your hamster's cage is in a loud living room or a kid's bright bedroom, it's suffering. Hamsters are nocturnal. They need quiet, dim daytime environments to rest. But you also can't stick them in a basement or garage. They need stable temperatures, 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, no drafts, no direct sun, and no pets staring at them all day. That's incredibly stressful. A lot of people think hamsters only live a year, so they treat them like disposable pets. In reality, they usually live 2 to 3 years, sometimes longer, with proper care. Most die early because they're kept in tiny cages, given poor diets, and never get enrichment. Dying at 1 year isn't normal. It's neglect. The solution is simple: bigger cages, 450 plus square inches of floor space, deep bedding, at least 6 inches, a wheel that fits them properly, and real enrichment like tunnels, hides, chews, and foraging. Avoid cedar and pine bedding. Avoid hamster balls. Use a playpen instead. And never house hamsters together unless you truly know what you're doing. People think hamsters are easy starter pets, but they're not. They're prey animals, sensitive, nocturnal, intelligent, and need far more space and stimulation than most owners realize. Your hamster doesn't hate you. It hates its environment. If you care about it, improve the setup.